This is the BuzzTV G Series box. This is their first Google certified streaming device. Now, I have reviewed BuzzTV devices in the past. They've all been on the AOSP or Android open source project, which means that they're not Google certified. So when that happens, you don't get certain things, like you don't get your certified Netflix, you don't get Prime Videos, you don't get the official App Store. So with them coming to Google, we're gonna see a lot more support, and this box does look good, at least on paper. So as far as some of the specifications, this is going to have Android TV OS, 4 gigs of DDR4 RAM, 64 gigs of storage. It is going to have an Ethernet port, USB-C for power, HDMI, optical audio, micro SD slot, another USB port, and a USB-C for data. So definitely a lot more ports than we've seen on most streaming devices. As far as network compatibility, we're going to have 802.11b, GN, as well as AX, 2.4 as well as 5 gigahertz band, Wi-Fi 6, and it does have Bluetooth 5.0. Big selling feature for this box is that it does have AI-SR, or AI super resolution. We've seen technology similar to this on NVIDIA Shield before with their AI upscaling. What this does basically, it takes standard and HD video and it scales it up to make it look like 4K. So in addition to the AI-SR, it is going to have 4K UHD, AV1, Wi-Fi 6 as we mentioned, Bluetooth, Dolby Audio, as well as Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. Enough about the specifications, let's get it out of the box. So definitely big shout out to BuzzTV for sending this out. Not an official release yet, so I'm hoping to get this out. That way, if you guys are even considering getting this device, you'll have some frame of reference to kind of see how it compares to whatever you want to compare it to. So again, specifications on this look really impressive, guys. This is NVIDIA Shield type level specifications, but we're gonna get it into the lab and just do our benchmark, see where it stacks up, and just kind of see how it performs. All right, so we're gonna have a quick start guide. All right, BuzzTV and Google TV on the front. There's the box itself, and we're gonna put this to the side for now. Additionally, in the box, we are gonna have an HDMI cable, standard length. It looks like 3 to 4 feet. Do have the power plug as well. This is USB-C. All right, output on this is gonna be 5 volts, 2 amps. Last two things in the box are going to be the remote as well as the battery. So let's take a look at the remote first. And traditional BuzzTV, they do specialize in IPTV, so they do have the numbers button up top, which I do like. This is a smaller footprint than their normal size remote, so it's a lot skinnier. Of course, we're gonna have a power button. Look like we have a star or favorite up top, numbers. This has a keyboard icon, so we'll kind of see what that does when we get in there. We do have favorites right here that you can program, your profile button, Google Assistant, settings, navigation in the middle, and have your back, your home, as well as your TV button. That's gonna give you the live channels on your Google UI. Further down, we do have volume up and down, mute, channel up and down, and we do have our dedicated shortcuts that are required by Google. So on this one, we're gonna have YouTube, Netflix, Prime Videos, as well as your YouTube music. Before we move on to the box, as I said, this is a pretty skinny remote, and it rivals the same size as the Fire TV stick as well as the on devices. So same width as both remotes. As you can see, they're a little bit taller than the Fire TV remote, a little bit taller than the on remote as well, but you can just see there's not much in between them, guys. This is a pretty good fitting remote in your hands, pretty good looking. I know a lot of people are not fans of the numbers on the remote, but for this purpose, and we know that this box is going to be a powerhouse, it's going to be a lot of room for you to use these to make your life easier. So definitely appreciate that. All right, over to the box itself, and this is a lot skinnier and smaller than I actually anticipated. All right, so BuzzTV logo up top, nothing on the front, nothing on the side. We get to the back, we're going to have our dedicated ports. So we're going to have our micro SD slot, optical audio, your Ethernet, HDMI out, does have a reset pin in the HDMI hole, so we'll check that out. I think that just kind of refreshes it. Do have your power as well. And on the side, you are going to have some additional ports, so USB-C port as well as an additional USB port. So again, not too much to go over. The device itself is pretty solid. It's smaller than I anticipated. You can see fits in the palm of my hands, but this little guy is going to pack a punch. Let's go ahead and get it set up. So as you can see, the setup for Google TV is going to be standard to any other setup you do with the on 4K devices. It's going to ask you to sign into your Google account. It's going to bring you through your Wi-Fi, your languages. Then you're going to be able to select your apps as far as what streaming services you have. I didn't put a video on this yet, but I no longer have Sling TV, so I'll probably be doing an update here. Back to YouTube TV. I did do a video the other day letting you guys know that YouTube TV came out with different packages that you can pay less money on, so you do have kind of an a la carte pick for your TV packages with YouTube TV. So I ended up going back to them over Sling, but I'll probably do a dedicated video. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions about that. All right, so this is if you're using the remote with a TV. Right now it's just connected to my video capture card, so I'm going to do that a little bit later. All right, setting up Google TV. We're going to fast forward through this part and I'll let you know if there are any upgrades available. All right, so here we are in Google TV, and let's just go up and see what we're running. So you can see I am signed into my account here. Got the traditional Google TV buttons up top, your home, live, applications, screensaver, and you do have your quick settings. From the quick settings, click on your settings right here. Just wanted to verify that I don't have any updates available. We're going to click on About. Before we go on the updates, let's just see what we have. Android TV OS 14. Do have this security patch from December 1st, 2025. Here's the build. All right, let's go back. Let's just see if we have any updates available. All right, so look like we are completely up to date, which is really cool. All right, so completely up to date there. Let's go down to our system, storage. All right, so look like we have 56 gigs available, no applications installed as of yet. So this is what you're going to get after you get into the operating system. So 56 gigs of storage there ready for you to go. As far as the different audio formats, if you go to surround sound settings and you go to show formats, you can see you have different options to go through. So you have Dolby Digital, Dolby Digital Plus, Dolby Atmos with Dolby Digital, and you also have DTS. You can go ahead and select them manually. You can set it to automatic, but those are the options. I know a lot of you guys ask for the different audio options, so definitely wanted to touch on that at least for a little bit. Now let's go to our display settings. Just want to make sure that we are in 4K. So we're going to go to display and sound. All right, so as far as the resolution, you can see we are streaming at 4K at 60 frames per second. All right, so let's quickly just dive into the user interface. So again, this is the traditional Google TV UI, very snappy as you can see there. Goes through the menus really fast, no issues there. All right, so looks really good, feels really good. Let's check out the Google Assistant. What's the weather like in San Francisco? All right, so it's going to give you the information. Open YouTube. All right, so again, voice assistant is going to work as it does on other devices, but I do have my apps here. Again, really nice to have your traditional Netflix. I know this was a deal breaker for most of you guys. That's why you avoided BuzzTV products in the past. But with the G series, now we have Netflix, we have Prime Videos, we also have the Google Play Store. All right, so as far as the resolution, you can see we are streaming at 4K at 60 frames per second. So let's go back up. We're going to go to YouTube. All right, so I like to just make sure we get quality streaming from these. And before we get started, we're just going to make sure that we are streaming in 4K as well. So we're going to go over to our settings, set the quality to 2160p, which is 4K. Let's go back. And you can see how great that looks, guys. Let me skip ahead. All right, so looks really good. And just to take it a step further, let's jump into the stats for nerds just to kind of see if we're dropping any frames or see if anything's a hold up currently. So if we go down to the settings, we go to stats for nerds. Let's go back. All right, stats for nerds is going to tell you how your stream is doing. So a lot of useful information on the screen. So it starts with the viewpoint, the video ID, current optimal rate. You can see it's set to 4K. Volume normalization is up there. Codecs. You can see the stream is healthy. The connection speed is pretty good. I am currently on Wi-Fi, but we're going to test out the Ethernet here in a little bit. Buffering health is really good. Everything is looking really great for this stream. And again, this is expected, especially considering the specs that's in this device. Let's go back home. So let's go ahead and we'll jump right into the speed test. So I am on Wi-Fi currently, so definitely want to just see how it performs over Wi-Fi, see what difference I get when I go over the wire connection. So currently I'm not connected to a Wi-Fi 6 router, but that's what I'm getting on a normal Wi-Fi 5 router. Let me switch it over to a Wi-Fi 6. All right, so I believe we're at 360 maybe on the normal Wi-Fi 5 router. All right, so not much of a difference there. Did go up a little bit, 393. So we'll keep playing with that. So slight improvement, Wi-Fi 6 over normal Wi-Fi 5. But let's try it on Ethernet because I'm definitely curious to know if this is Gigabit Ethernet or 10100. So let me go ahead and plug that in. All right, you can see I am currently on Ethernet. All right, Ethernet takes priority whenever you plug it in. So let's go back over and see if we're getting full speeds and see if this is gigabit. Anything over 100 megabits per second gives us an indication to see if this is Gigabit Ethernet or not. And that is a great sign, just knowing that they didn't cheap out on the Ethernet port. A lot of folks really wanted Gigabit Ethernet on their streaming device, and big shout out to Buzz for making it happen. So do have full gigabit speeds on our local area network. So let's get into just overall storage management as well as installing third-party applications. So I do have a trusty USB, have a lot of test files on here. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. So I am plugged into the USB-C port. All right, so nothing popped up as of yet. Normally there's a little pop-up, a notification, but nothing as of yet. So let me go back and we'll just go to, all right, so let's go back, system, I'm gonna go to storage. All right, so it did actually recognize it, just didn't pop up. So see my internal storage, still have 56 gigabytes available. Here's my test USB drive. When I click on it, it's going to give me two options. I can eject it or I can erase and format as device memory. So again, I like to distinguish the two differences there. If I format as device storage, what it will do is wipe everything on the storage. Then it will combine it with the internal storage of the device. But the downfall of that is that you'll lose everything on the USB drive, and also this USB can only be used on this device moving forward. So you want to make sure you dedicate a drive if that's your reason to do so. But for this, I do have files on this drive, so I just want to make sure that I can view the files, and you need a file manager enabled to do that. So this is the Explorer File Explorer. Again, all of these are going to be free. Just kind of pick which one works for you. So you can see we do have the 3D Mark IDA 64. We do have the Hulu logo if you want to click on it. So we also have a couple videos right here. Let me click on this one. And this is a video that I did not too long ago for the other channel. Definitely, if you're into motorcycles, check that channel out as well. Again, kind of something I just do for fun. But if you're into that, check the channel out. I'll link it in the description of this video. So you can play 4K files directly from the actual box, which is always a plus. And with all that said, you can still skip ahead, skip behind, and it will work with no problem. So definitely it's going to come in handy. And like I said, you can, so definitely it's going to come in handy. Here's another video. I'm not sure what this is. Okay. That was the old bike. Again, if you have a USB, you can plug it directly into this box. It will work. And you should be able to play your files, play your movies, look at your pictures, whatever the case is. All that should be done via the USB. Let's go back in. I wanted to get into the installation of third-party applications on this device. Can you install third-party apps? Yes, we can go from USB, but I wanted to see if we can get to developer options from your system itself. So to do that, we're going to go to System. We're going to go to About. And what we normally do is go to our build number. So right there, and we're just going to click on it 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can see now I'm a developer. Now if I go back 1, and if I go down, I should now see developer options right here. So again, developer options is going to unlock a lot of different things for you. Keep your box awake, allow the bootloader to be, you have some bootloader options there. Picture color mode, that option is there. USB debugging authorization, wireless debugger. So again, just a lot of different options from within your actual device. So we're going to go back to the USB again. Again, you can get downloader from here. There's different ways you can do this, but for this I'm going to install it directly from the USB. I'm going to start with AIDA64. I normally run this just to kind of see what's under the hood. So let's go ahead and install that. All right, so we are going to have to go into our settings. All right, install unknown apps. We want to go ahead and turn on File Manager Plus. This is going to allow you to install third-party applications. All right, I'm just going to hit the drop down, install anyway. Again, this is me taking acknowledgement. The other one I want to install is 3D Mark. I am going to do a benchmark here in a little bit. All right, so before we go into the benchmark, let's go to AIDA64, kind of show you guys what's really under the hood. Because again, they do give you basic information, but you can really dig deep if you know what you're looking for. So as far as the system, you can see the manufacturer of the system there is SEI Robotics. G Series is the brand name. BuzzTV does give the board information. Hardware is going to be M-Logic. Install RAM, 4 gigs. Total memory, so a little bit over 3 gigs there, and available memory is about half what we have. Internal storage space is 52, internal storage free space is 50, and it shows the external storage as well as the Bluetooth version. Let's go over to our CPU. So CPU is going to have an ARM Cortex A55, and this is going to max out at 2.5 gigahertz. That's pretty quick for a streaming box. This is going to be a 64-bit operating system. However, it is running in 32-bit mode. 4 cores, as you can see there, ranges from 100 to 2.5 gigahertz. Here are the 4 clock speeds. Current screen resolution 3840 2160. Graphics card is Mali G310. And currently this is at 60 hertz. A lot of network information here, Android information there. But again, AIDA64 is my go-to for actually seeing what's under the hood. So far, no surprises. Let's go ahead and get into the benchmark. So here we are with the benchmark results, guys, and scored a little bit lower than I anticipated. See, it scored a 1586 there, and I'll let you know how this stacks up against some of the competitors here in a little bit. Graphics score was a 1595, and the physics score, which is the actual CPU, scored a 1555. So nice balanced score, but just thinking about the specs and what it had under the hood, it does score a little bit lower than I anticipated. Just to put that in perspective, on 4K Pro scores a 584, the Fire TV Cube scored a 2595, the NVIDIA Shield TV scored a 4268, and the most powerful streaming device that we've ever tested, which was the BuzzTV Power Station 6, scored a 7527. So scores lower than I anticipated, but that's not to say that this device is slow, guys. This is going to be able to take everything that you throw at it. It does have the Ethernet port built in, Gigabit Ethernet, does have multiple USB, SD card slot, so this still is a very solid device. So as far as the AISR or the AI Super Resolution, which is going to upscale your content, I did reach out to BuzzTV to see if there's a setting inside the box where we can adjust it and see it work as magic. So speaking of Buzz, they said there isn't a setting within the box itself where you can play with it. It does everything automatically, so it automatically upscales your lower resolution content. So we'll be doing a dedicated video to test that out in the next couple weeks. As far as what you can do to kind of view the difference or see the setting, if you download the product productivity launcher. You can go into the settings, you can go into more Logic settings, and then you can play with the AI SR in there, and that carries over to the regular user interface. Like I said, I've done videos on this, and if you want me to, I can do a follow-up video on this as well. So this was a long enough video. I do plan on doing some follow-ups. Drop your thoughts, your questions in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are, and of course I'll leave a link below where you can go ahead and check it out. Of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.